accent. Generally in India you find that happening, mainly because English is learned here as a second language. All of us have learned our mother tongue first. So when we speak English, the influence of the mother tongue is bound to happen, and that comes naturally. And this can be understood only by paying attention to the accent of the speaker. You immediately make out, without even asking, without even having the speaker uttered a single word about his origin, you can immediately guess, and the guess would be absolutely right if you know about the accents. We come to the next point. Emotions. Emotions are of different types which are displayed, and as we know that sad, whether it's sad, happy, excited, angry or afraid, these are all the different kinds of emotions that you try to display at the time of expressing the emotions. When you're very unhappy, obviously you appear to be sad, and that is the kind of the tone that you use in your speech. It comes naturally. When you're happy, that is not just your facial expression, but while you're talking, the tone of the voice definitely conveys the message that you are happy. Especially when you're excited, when you're angry and afraid. These are all the different emotions. So it's not just the facial expressions, but when it is combined with the tone of the voice, it gives the right kind of message to the listener or to the person who listens to your voice, or the person who interacts with you. Now, tone of the voice is very important, not only for a newsreader, but for, I would say it's more important for somebody, a radio jockey for instance, RJ, because you do not see the person. It's only the voice that is being heard, and therefore when you listen to the voice, you form a particular image of the speaker. You think that this person has to have this kind of appearance, but it's quite possible that when you meet this person, that person and the voice that the person has, there will be a lot of contrast. So sometimes the voice is so soothing, but the appearance may be deceptive. You cannot judge the look of a person by the voice, by the tone of the person. And the next point that we were discussing is clarity. As you can look onto the slide, clarity of speech is important, but how clear you are while you are speaking. Do you enunciate the words properly? That means, do you pronounce the word properly? So then that gives a particular kind of message. But if you're simply mumbling, so there is lack of clarity here. Or sometimes when you're distorting, there is distortion in your speech, in your voice. There is lack of clarity. But if there is precision in your speech, there is much more clarity. So these aspects of the tone of the voice are equally important. Now, while we look at the other aspects of the tone of voice, you can look onto the slide and see that hesitation. While we hesitate, what happens? When we are hesitating while we talk, you either start or you stop, and then sometimes you're struggling to find the right words. Somewhere you are hesitant. That is what the message goes when you're struggling to find words. Or maybe sometimes it also means that you are nervous because you are not getting the right word, so you're struggling. So this hesitation is also a part of it. Pauses. Sometimes silence is golden, we believe, right? But if you have a lot of pause for emphasis, sometimes pause is required. But for audience response, pause is required. We are waiting for the audience to respond. Then you need to have the right kind of pause. In the similar manner, you have to use pause wherever required for the right kind of emphasis. For dramatic effect, sometimes you have pauses which work very well. So pause is also important, but that doesn't mean the pause should stay for a long time, that it turns into silence. That can be very dangerous. Language. In the tone of the voice, while we discuss, these are also some of the aspects that you have to understand. The slangs, the proper grammar, profanity, cliches, colloquialism. All this are a part of it. I would like to tell you that henceforth, when you watch television, because now there is very little chance that you would listening to the news on the radio. So let us talk about the television. It's a self-paced activity which I have put on the slide for you. So you close your eyes and try to listen to the newscaster's voice. So then you will be able to understand exactly what I'm trying to say. It's a mix of all the aspects that we discussed right now. That is, there should be clarity in the speech. If the news reader does not have the clarity in the speech, then you do not feel like watching. For that matter, the person would not even be doing the job. He would be rejected even before he's employed as a newscaster. So clarity is very important, because without clarity you will not be able to communicate. The enunciation part is important. The right kind of pause is important. The emotions that go with the tone of the voice, very, very important, because the newscaster, when they read the news, there are a lot of aspects, different kinds of news which were being relayed or telecast to you. It could be sad. So the tone has to send the right signal, has to send the right message, without which the newsreader would not have done justice to the job. And therefore it's very, very important that the tone of the voice should be mastered, so that the newsreader, when presenting the news, encourages the listeners to sit and are engrossed in listening to the news, mainly because of the tone, the style that the person has, the right kind of emotions. Because now that even newsreaders, for them, there is a lot of interaction involved. As some of the news that are being telecast, that there are interactions happening simultaneously. So even at that point of time, unless and until you do not emote, you do not show the emotions through the tone of the voice, then it becomes a total failure. It would be a dismal performance as far as the newsreader is concerned. So tone of the voice should be effectively kept in mind. The varying vocal tone or pitch while giving a speech keeps the audience attentive. If you talk in a very same manner, in the monotonous manner, it will be ineffective. So you have to have variation while you talk. There has to be a change in the voice, change in the tone, change in the pitch, and makes the audience identify the most important parts of the speech. Let us go to the next slide. Tone of voice also enables you to determine what someone really means by the words, especially because words have different meanings, as I said. So if a particular word is used, but it doesn't mean the person is using it in the right sense. It could be to express rudeness, it could be the person would be sarcastic, he could be appreciative or critical. To emphasize parts of the sentence, one uses the tone or pitch of one's voice. For example, loud scream or a shout of fire or help conveys the message as very, very urgent. So it also depends on where the emphasis, on which part of the sentence the emphasis is put. That is what the basics of the tone of the voice. That is what you have to understand. Enunciation. The X accent can provide information about where you come from. It also indicates age and sex. Slow speed encourages the listener to pay special attention. Speaking very fast gives the impression that the speaker is nervous or unprepared. Silence can be golden, as I said earlier, or deadly based on people's evaluations, often depending on contextual and relational factors. For example, in an interview, a prolonged silence or break is met with discomfort. So while you're sitting in an interview, you cannot keep silent for a long time. It indicates embarrassment, anxiety, or lack of preparation, as well as shyness, confusion, or disrespect. Silence can also be used to show anger or frustrations. When you are mad at someone, you may give him or her the silent treatment. Voice is strained when angry, high-pitched when anxious, and you tend to talk fast when excited or nervous. It indicates your degree of comfort in an interaction and whether you like the person with whom you are talking or feel upset by him or her. Now, why do we talk about the importance of nonverbal communication? As I said earlier, it enhances the quality of your communication. We all use words, but all of us use the same word differently. So if we use it with a difference, it will have a better impact. The power of nonverbal communications, the nonverbal messages, is so strong and so effective that you can easily influence people with that. Now, some of the important works that have been done in this field, the most popular writer is Alan and Barbara Pease, Jacqueline Rankin, Kevin Hogan, and Mary Hartley. These are some of the references for your future. If you would like to, if you're interested, if you want to unravel more about nonverbal communications, please go through these books. They're very interesting, and you should try and develop certain right kind of postures, facial expressions, and the right kind of tone of voice. And once you've mastered this art, you will find that while interacting, you can be more successful, more effective, more influential. So wish you all the best, and I hope that this session on facial expressions and tone of the voice has made things clear to you. And please do try and do the exercise, especially with regard to the tone of the voice that I had suggested. Close your eyes and listen to the news and try to follow the tone of the voice that is being used. It will always be beneficial for you in your future, because anything that we do today has the right kind of effect, because communication is the basic thing if you want to reach out to people. Thank you.
SANDHAN, All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.